partners with nonprofit organizations that promote the card to their supporters. Their supporters then use the card to power the mission of the nonprofit. It's a win-win-win for everyone, except the big banks, of course. Groundswell is about to launch its first card in this market, and we're inviting you to be part of this movement and invest in the company. Go to WeFunder.com/groundswell card to learn more. Set up a free WeFunder account,
We're on.
invest in Groundswell today, and get your money on mission.
All right, we are live. We're just gonna have to do it. I had a little bit of technical difficulties yesterday. For those who did ask, I did go on a live. I had, and thankfully I was recording my father on our separate camera as well. And since this has been getting really glitchy on me, as you guys have known, since March, the infamous March 13th of 2019, I said, well, whatever, I don't want to have to redo an interview. So I did 2 recordings and it just cut me off. The one on my phone, the Instagram one, just said, nope, not allowed. So, and then I didn't get an option to save it. So that was kind of sketchy. But anyway, yeah, hi Hannah, you noticed? I'm in California, so I am going to be rocking, thanks to Joshua Coleman. He has, I gotta get that exact website. I don't know if he's on today, but it's my Lying Pan shirt. Okay, so I finally got a Lying Pan shirt. It's got his 5 lies listed on the back, 5 famous lies here. And even though I'm no longer a California resident, I feel like I can still rock this and be in California and still advocate a little bit for California, even though it's such a lost cause at times, isn't it? I mean, California, just with everything else, forget the vaccine laws and the censoring in that way, but, whatever. This guy is the reason that one of the biggest reasons we had to leave California, okay? Taxes would have, we probably, honestly, we were doing pretty well with the wedding photography. We could have stuck it out for like 4 or 5 more years and pay this disgusting California tax, but we were like, you know what? What's the point? They got rid of our religious freedoms. So that this state is going downhill in a hurry. So anyway, but yeah, this guy's a big scumbag, in Sacramento. So it's okay. We got to rock the shirt. I think it's lyingpanshirt.com or something like that. I have to look that up. All right, censorship. We got a lot of fun stuff to talk about today. Since we're on the censorship topic, let's discuss how Natural News, which had over 3 million followers on Facebook, is just done. It's done. They took them off. So that no more for that platform for them. I'm on their site. They said just days after being banned and deleted by Facebook, Natural News has now learned that Facebook banned Natural News because of an opinion article that Natural News never even posted to Facebook. But this is what they said. The article in question was LGBT progressivism horrors, warning children against being physically and chemically disfigured by parents pushing an LGBT indoctrination agenda. And they didn't even post that up. So they pretty much banned the entire account due to a hate speech opinion article, which wasn't even posted. So can they contest it? I don't know. But that's a bummer. But the thing is, we all have kind of already known, and we're pretty... Whose fault is it at this point, right? We've been prepped and warned since January of this year about the censorship. So it's kind of like continuing to use Etsy and then Pinterest and then complaining now after knowing that they are censoring you on those platforms. So what's my next step here? I don't know. A lot of you have mentioned that I should look into, is it Patreon or some, is the site like that? And I think Jeff and I were looking into it the other day, and it just seems like there's all these fees that they want to take in order for you to do lives and do streams, and it's just crappy that we have to go through it that way to begin with. It's like, doesn't it make people step back and say, well, crap. Yeah, they're really big time censoring. And that should be enough. Like, they're really big time censoring. So it's almost like, can you hate anymore? Like, every time I see the posts and the people who message me saying, I am not able to message you on this, or every time I jump on a live with you, it looks funky, or you get blurred out, or it's like, well, that's just going to come with all of this. If RFK Jr. is creating a social app, that would be great. But, and I know that there's big time news this week too with celebrity Jessica Biel, who's Mrs. Timberlake, who we know that they don't vaccinate their kids, right? We know many celebrities don't, but they love, because Hollywood likes to push that on everyone else. Not that they have done that, but I don't quite yet know how I feel on that. And so I don't want to really spend too much time doing a whole opinions piece. Like I've never really liked that RFK Jr. and Jessica Biel have supported Clinton, because if Clinton was president, you guys realize that all of this stuff would have been mandated a long time ago. And talk about the censorship with hate speech and free speech, gone, goodbye, especially on any topic that questions safety in poison shots. So that part kind of doesn't sit too well with me either, because anyway, I'm just saying, with everything and anyone, don't put anybody up on a pedestal. It's like great that she's been seen, photographed with him everywhere, and when he says go thank her, that's a big deal, because I think that's kind of smart, knowing that, hey, look at all these swarms of tens of thousands of parents who now we know now, and hi Jessica, hello, we know now. So what are you gonna do about it? I don't know, but I get very with that. Hi, Samantha's on here. I feel really uncertain about celebrities using their voice for anything. Yeah, so that's kind of how I'm feeling too. Joshua Coleman is on. Joshua, what's the website where they can get this Lying Pan shirt? I didn't want to misquote it, but if you could type in what that website is called, there's probably a bunch of people on here that'd be interested, because it's a great shirt. And this guy's a crap bucket. So, if you could put that on there, that would be amazing. Okay. But yeah, Samantha, I'm feeling the same way. I don't know is what I'm saying. I don't know. I don't know why the sudden... Anyway. I don't want to say anything, because then it's going to be used against me. Anything you say can and will be used against you. People don't realize that with the Miranda rights, too. We were getting our concealed carry in Nevada, and that was a big takeaway from that lesson. He goes, hey, that line where they say anything you say can and will be used against you, that will be used against you is very, very important. That is key. So just don't say anything. Literally, the only word you should say is lawyer. Lawyer. If you're ever in a situation like that, okay? Just a quick tidbit on there. Man, that guy gave us so many good tips. I wish that I could do a live... I'm going to ask him, okay? But I'm just pretty sure he's ex-CIA, ex-whoever, just teaching how to shoot up guns in Nevada, because this guy was incredible. He was a great source of information, and he gave you a lot of tips, a lot of, lawyer numbers for in-case things, and you take these classes with these people, right? Anytime you see X anything, you're like, this is a good thing. And then he tells you that, he's no longer allowed in the Middle East, and you're like, what a great... This is going to be awesome. And his class was just that. It was awesome. You'd think 4 hours of, learning laws, and you're just the entire time 4 hours going, oh my gosh. Okay. So, if your state still allows it, go and take a concealed carry. Please do it, just for the fun of it. Please. If you're in Nevada, I can let you know of a really great source to go to for that. California, no, I'm sorry. California, you guys, I don't know how you're going to defend yourselves now. Shots all around. Shots all around. Okay, so let's talk now about, the natural news thing this whole thing sucks, because this platform really speaks to those that look to sources and sites like this for non-pharma, products that you're not going to be dependent on, that are non-addictive, that don't come with insane amounts of side effects, and that's where they go. And now this kind of stuff, why this is a big deal for everybody else that is in any kind of industry of promoting any kind of, hey, you know, a squirt here or a squirt there can heal this and that, it's gonna suck for all of us, right? And so, like, you look at this, and this is a very, very dark time in history right now. This is like the day the music died kind of crap. This is the day that freedom died, the day that free speech died. Because watch it just get worse. What can they go after next? And what are they going after next? Okay, let's touch in on this garbage article. Now, I'm very confused by the CDC. Always, okay, always. Parents don't just wake up one day and say, today is a great day to just go against Big Pharma. I think I'm going to do it. That's not what's happening. So to anybody that's like, why is there this anti-vax movement? I mean, it's just sad, okay? I'm going to get real petty here. I'm going to get real petty. Because I do that sometimes. But, like, nobody gave a crap about, like, I mean, I know my kids are cute, right? They're cute kids. But nobody gave a crap when I was like, 10 years ago going, or maybe 8 years ago going, hey, mom blogging might be fun. I got some friends, we're going to get in this mom blogging thing. And maybe there's like strangers out there on the interwebs that like care about, you know, the clothes my kids wear, the things my kids eat, you know, me shopping around and playing pretend. And apparently there's like a lot of people who care about that kind of stuff. Petty, right? So I was like, I'm going to start a mom blog. Hold on. And then I was like, well, God, I guess my kids aren't that cute because, you know, that's not really taken off. So I spent a couple years, I dove into another hobby of mine, which I was like, I like to drink wine, but I don't want people to think that I'm just this drunk. So if I have a certification in wine, they might take me seriously. So I got into wine. Did the whole Napa thing, got totally certified, right? WSET level 2, hello, SOM certified. But then I found out after getting all the certifications that I didn't really want to go back to working in a restaurant because the restaurant life was just like not for me anymore. I did it for like over 7 years. I was like, man, I don't really like this. But this apparently comes with a certification, so what can I do? So I was like, I'm going to go and use my social media, and I wrote these really elaborate wine reviews. I mean, and whatever. I was like, maybe I can go. Anyway, do I have a point here? Yeah, my point is that apparently people only want to follow for, like, the crap that's going on in the world and like the terrible news, and apparently you guys really only give a crap about, you know, being poisoned and all. And that's great. It's just that nobody ever cared about anything else I posted about, so this is why I talk about this. Literally, my family sometimes is like, wait, what? Why do people care to listen in on you every single day? Like, why would anybody care? And you're like, because they want to know like what new poison is out there to like watch out for. And it sucks, but it's great, but it sucks. I'm like, yeah, by the way, Dad, the thing that I've been talking about for the past decade, apparently that's the thing that people care about. He's like, oh, well, that's good. That's interesting. Speaking of the conversation I had with my dad yesterday, I did record it. It's just that now, because this thing didn't allow me to post it, I got to like edit it and put it together because it's now a long video. It just sucks. All right. What is going on right now, CDC? What's going on? They got this new study on parental age that had come out. So first they wanted to say, if you look up articles that the CDC was coming out with from like, look up June 2015. Okay, so 4 years ago, right? Yeah, so exchange is on here like, hey, yeah, Talia, you're cute, you're kind of cute and all, so are your kids, right? But we want to know how to not die. Okay, fine. Let's talk about that then. Fine. So new study. This was a four-year-old article. They go new study on parental age and the child's autism risk. So as of 4 years ago, they wanted to talk about how they now have to address that the numbers in autism and ass eating, that the numbers in autism have gone up. So they're going, okay, we have the largest ever international study of parental age and autism risk. This was on CBS News. Researchers have found increased autism rates among children born to teen moms and among kids whose parents have large gaps between their ages. So I don't know if you remember this, but for a long time, they were trying to sell you on the notion that, well, autistic kids, it could be because like the dad is super old, right? And the mom is super young. Well, obviously you have to be young enough to have children. So the only thing people ever knew of with autism, if you're talking about decades ago, is that movie Rain Man, okay? Have you seen it? There's a movie called Rain Man, which is like one of the first times that everybody in this country heard about this spectrum that is autism. And the father in the movie, which you never really see because he had passed, is the same father of Tom Cruise and what's that actor's name? Gosh, it's on the Dustin Hoffman. And first of all, you're watching this movie, you're going, no. Dustin Hoffman and Tom Cruise can never be brothers. Ever. But whatever. They're supposed to be brothers, okay? And that, but then you're like, but it was the same parents, and then they had Tom, and he was fine because he's the younger brother, and he's obviously not on the spectrum, and okay. So that was what they wanted to sell us on for a while. And you're looking at this handful of years ago going, no, we don't want the old sperm because we just don't want the old sperm, not because it's going to come with all of these things. I'm kidding. Or am I don't know. What's the okay. But now, flash forward to June of 2019, and you got on their new findings, okay? You got the CDC, which is like an actual blog. I was like, is this a real thing? So this is what I'm looking at if you guys are confused here. Okay, you got key findings. Autism is associated with amount of time between births. Okay. One more question now to add to my questions for when I speak to the elderly. And so, guys, come on, I need help. We got to come up with a hashtag for where we're going to put all of these stories of the elderly into like some kind of forum or just a way to like maybe put all their videos together on like a site they can go to that will likely be banned and blocked anyways. But so here were some of the questions that I had, and now I'm going to add this question to it. Sorry if I'm a little bit all over the place this morning. There's just a lot that goes on, and I'm like, I can't do this every single day. So then when I space out the days, it just gets overwhelming because there's too much going on in the news. Way too much. So here are the questions that I have, which if you want to write them down or jot them down, I think they're pretty standard to ask. So if you encounter the older person in your life and they're willing to do like a quick 5 to 10 minute interview with you, all right? Because I am not going to do all of this. I think every single one of us that has phone and internet access can do this. So what are my questions here? They're on this phone that I'm talking into, so I can't post it that way, but okay. All right, so obviously you want to ask them what decade they were born in. So you could start with that. If they don't want to say their exact age, you could be like, would you be willing to share the decade that you were born in? And then you go into this next question. So I can't wait to post the first video with my dad, okay? Can you tell us about the allergies that your classmates had growing up? Like, what allergies in your school did you know of? Because nowadays, the list, like I've shown you, I have a highlight here called allergies and vax. And you can go check that out. It's crazy if you see today's lists, okay? Like strawberries and oranges. There's a woman who let me know that in her class there's a kid that is allergic to anything that has the color orange. That's an allergy now. Okay. Then you want to ask them, how many special needs kids did you know of? Kids with ADHD/attention deficit type disorders. Granted, there were no psychotropic drugs like there are nowadays, like Ritalin and Adderall being pushed on children. But were there kids, a lot of kids in your class that needed that extra attention, needed that extra care? Because nowadays, let's say the average classroom size is 30-something kids. You have a teacher and there's a teacher's aide. And it's pretty standard in public school. And that teacher's aide is kind of responsible for the handful of kids in every classroom that need extra attention and extra care because they have learning disabilities, which is why they've dumbed down the education for everybody else. Okay, I've gotten into the Common Core talk. I think I spent a whole month on just the dumbing down of our education, right? Okay, then you want to ask them, what were some of your parents' biggest fears growing up? Like when you were a kid, do you remember what your parents were most afraid of? Okay, then you want to ask them, how many women did you know growing up, did you personally know growing up, who were infertile or struggling to have children? That's a huge question to be asking these people because right now it's 6.1 million women in America who are who are infertile. Meaning these women have already tried to have children, like they want to have children, they've gone the route, then they found out that they cannot have children. So that number is greater than 6.1 million because there's many women out there that have no idea, that aren't even planning for kids yet. And this is like heartbreaking, that they have no idea that in the next even decade when they think they're going to be ready to have kids, that they will not be able to have kids. So that is a huge epidemic that nobody wants to talk about in this country. And if they want to talk about it, you will see that society has painted it out to be this well, let's not shame them. Like, let's shout about it. Let's talk about how you are now 1 in 8. You're 1 in 8, and you're like supposed to wear that proudly. And it's like, well, nobody's shaming you for not being able to have kids, but why aren't we questioning why there's 1 in 8 women in America who want children and cannot have them? That's a huge question. So jot that down, okay? Because I guarantee you, how many of us can name more than 5? Like tomorrow, like this. There's a lot. I can name a lot that I personally know that want to have children, that cannot have children. But more than half of them don't want to hear about anything else from me. So, you had morons talking about how this kind of thing is genetic. Explain to me how being infertile can be genetic. Okay, because it's more in the craziness that we're living in. Crazy town USA. That's it. That's where we're all living right now. So, they want to tell you now that, and then you got to ask them this question now too. Sorry, I freaking forgot my point in that. Now you got to ask them this question. How many siblings do you have? How far apart were you all? And what was like the average number of kids in a family? Like what was considered a lot of kids? Because my mom comes from a family of 8 children. My grandmother was literally pregnant for over a decade. 2 of the kids that she had were 11 months apart, okay? They were born like the same year. So 0 on the spectrum, okay? 0. I mean, we have to now ask these questions, which I'm now leading up to because what is this? What is this? That I think I'm still from the generation where our parents were having babies at least 2 to 3 years apart. This wants to tell you that these are their main findings, okay, on this autism associated with the amount of time between births. Narrative that is like, what? Children conceived less than I'm quoting the CDC blog, okay? Children conceived less than 18 months after their mother's previous birth, or children conceived 60 or more months after their mother's previous birth were more likely to have ASD when compared to children conceived between 18 to 59 months after their mother's previous birth. The relationship is stronger in children with severe ASD syndrome or symptoms. Could it be, this is just speculation on my part, but could it be that perhaps the first baby, because our first babies are unfortunately our guinea pigs with everything, like it's bad enough, right, to be the firstborn that your parents don't know what the heck they're doing. Could it be maybe that the firstborn had such a traumatic episode with a lot of these setback appointments, that it was that traumatizing for the parents too, and that they just didn't want to have children for years and years and years, and maybe down the road woke up a bit and said, let's try for another one, but this time we're going to call the shots? Could that be possibly why the first kid has it and the second kid doesn't? Maybe? I don't know. That's just speculation, of course. But they're saying the linkage between birth spacing, the period of time between pregnancies, and having a child with ASD appeared to be unique to ASD, and there was no linkage found between birth spacing and having children with other developmental disabilities. I'm irritated for a lot of reasons with this article, because you're going to do the time to do scientific summaries and research on findings like this, how do you even go about a study like that? That means you had to take the time to go to families, what a concept, okay? Look at siblings, see the time difference between siblings, and do that. So why in the ever-loving can you not do the one most requested study for over a decade now, which is the comparison between the unvaccinated and the vaccinated children and their health? Why can't you do that study? Why are you guys doing these bullshit studies to find links, to find causes, but you won't look at the number of SIDS cases out there and the correlation between a week within the well checks, they're dead. Sometimes hours, sometimes days. Why won't you do that? Meaning to say, okay, you have proven to us that you have a research team. You have proven to us that you can conduct these kind of studies. You have proven to us that no matter how absurd the headline is going to sound to the general population, that you're perfectly capable of doing this. And you haven't. And you haven't. And it's not exactly because they don't give a shit. It's because they know. Oh, I love it. I love how it's so Jasmine Day is up. Because they know the answer to that. They know the answer to that. Hello. You don't wake up and decide to go against one of the scariest mafia-like organizations on the planet just out of pure boredom. Parents have to do the research, and we're getting made fun of like we're suddenly trying to be researchers and suddenly trying to be scientists. No, when you tell a parent that they're going to be forced to do something, and oh, by the way, the doctors and the manufacturers have zero liability in this, the risk is all on you, you force that research onto the parent. Do you get it? You have forced parents to now take it upon themselves. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. My kids are on summer break, right? But I got to keep up with all the garbage that's happening around me. I got to keep up with it. And so do many of you. We don't want to do this. I don't know how to scream that from the rooftops. This is not fun. I've met some great people, okay? But I don't want to do this with my free time. That's the short, limited amount of free time I have left on God's green earth because it's no longer green. Really? That's what you're going to tell us? The linkage between birth spacing and having a child with ASD was not explained by unplanned pregnancy, an underlying fertility disorder in the mother. Now they're making it that this is all on you, right? This has nothing to do with the fact that they're pushing this crap on you while pregnant and even before you get pregnant. The findings from this study can help healthcare providers counsel their patients on pregnancy spacing. Couples thinking about getting pregnant can discuss pregnancy planning with a doctor or healthcare provider, aka birth control, aka stop having children, aka there's too many people on this planet according to the elites that run it, and we gotta depopulize things, okay? Which leads me to this next garbage news. So much trash. It's so much trash that we gotta look into nowadays. This is infuriating. Okay, so what's on our next up? Well, after we've given the elderly all the doses, we're now going to the researchers. So I shared that post, Kay, here. Somebody had also sent me this link. And researchers develop vaccine to possibly prevent Alzheimer's disease. They don't want to even look at the possibility that all this Alzheimer's stuff might have to do with, I don't know, a shit ton amount of aluminum trapped in your body. Because you can go on NCBI and you can go on PubMed and you can go on all of these government, websites that have peer-reviewed studies out there for you to see, tens of thousands, and look up the damages that aluminum can cause, okay? Look up that they've tested this stuff on rats and other animals. Look up that, polysorbate 80 is making rats infertile. So when you see that, 10 of your vaccines have polysorbate 80 in it, you're literally not going to sit back and go, well, maybe there's, Guys, they are killing, and then you get the people that, why do they want to kill off our elderly? Are you really asking that right now? Social Security is negative. Do you guys know that? We don't have, the baby boomer generation, they're blaming it on everybody else but their mismanagement of funds, okay? We are living in a country where we can sit back and see on the news that we're trillions of dollars in debt. Trillions. And we want to go, oh man, that Bush, what did he do? What was he buying? Oh man, that Obama, what was he thinking? Oh, this Trump, well, he's helping with that deficit. Nobody's sitting back going, who in the lost $1 trillion? Who lost $1 trillion? Who made that call? This is the government, okay? These are the same people who you want to keep trusting and entrust your kids' health with, and they lose trillions of dollars, and they get this, a slap on the wrist. That's our tax money that's just, bye, vanished. Oh, okay, so we're owned by China then? So we're pretty much owned by China. Is that what you're saying? I gotta go learn Mandarin tomorrow? Pretty much? Yeah? Okay. That actually wouldn't be a bad idea, because they do run everything and own everything. And this is not a racist statement, okay? But the Chinese are buying up all our properties, and they're in cash, wiring it in cash, and you know what? Paying more than the asking price. That's happening all over the place. It's definitely happening in California. That's why you're paying these high rents okay, to people that don't even live in the country. And this is nothing on them. They're just being good business people. They're seeing an opportunity and taking advantage of it. Okay? They're owning all our land. They're owning everything. Because we're trillions of dollars in debt. Oh, but the government tells me that I need to go get this for my kid. And yeah, you go ahead with that, and you trust the same doofuses that can't even update their DMV. You know the US Postal Service, you want to take, I've said this before, you want to take a trip to the 80s with your kids, you say, hey kids, you guys want to time travel today? We're gonna time travel today. And all you got to do with your kids is take them to the DMV. Take them to Social Security offices. Take them to the US Postal Service. And your kid will stand there and go, shouldn't there just be an app for this? Like, the Postal Service is literally just around nowadays to sell stamps. But you could go on stamps.com and just buy your stamps. Why are we... My point being, every organization that is government run is a shit show. Really. It is like time traveling, going into these places going, oh my gosh, the ineffective, the absolute moronic. And then they look at you like you're wasting their time. Why? In 2019, do I still gotta go to the DMV knowing that it's gonna waste an entire day of my life? This is the government. So if you're still on this thing of, oh, they care about us, we should just let them we should just let them make the calls and run they're the ones that are the experts. They're not freaking experts, okay? My 5-year-old can look around and go, something is up with this. This is crap. Like, I could type into my phone anything nowadays and get the answers and get the results. Like, this is crap. Because it is. And you literally have the zombies in this country that think that it's a good idea that these same organizations mandate and make decisions for your health. Oh my gosh, I cannot with people. Oh my gosh, when you hear them say, okay, you line up and do it. You don't make me do that. I don't want those people in charge of anything. Millions of dollars that Obama administration spent for their Obamacare website, and the first day it crashed. And you look at the website and you laugh your face off because it looks like you could have made it on Wix.com for free. But the government apparently spent $80 million to build that website. Oh my God. Why can't people see it? Why can't they see it? So sad and depressing. Right? This is so depressing. But I'm the crazy person. But I'm crazy. It's a racket. It's a racket. And we just spend all day long logging. I wake up. Okay, today feels like it's going to be an okay day. Is this really life? That I gotta try to convince people that documented poison, when put into a syringe, is magical healthcare all of a sudden. Magic. Who's the conspiracy theorist now? Okay? I call BS on that. You're sounding like a conspiracy theorist if you believe that this organization that is literally half-assed everything since the beginning of history on it. You're the conspiracy theorist if you want to continue trusting these organizations. That's all I got to say with that. Because guess what we're getting into next? You want to talk about why, though? Well, why? You still get the person. Why do they want to kill off our elderly? It's not so much that they want to kill them off, but they need their memories gone because of things like this. They don't need a bunch of 90-year-olds talking to you today, telling you that, hey, I went through this, and this, and this, and it was no big deal. They don't want that. That's going to kill their narrative. So you got to give them stuff to just like mess them up in the head, okay? Because what's really sad is you also have this huge society of older people that are just, it's like they clocked out already, you know? It's really sad when you talk to some of them. They are just resorted to the fact that they're likely going to die of a heart attack, a stroke, or cancer, because those are like the leading causes of death. Not a skewed prescription or anything like that. They're just like, that's what they've resorted to in their minds. Many of them are of the mindset that, well, around the time I'm 70, I'll probably start forgetting things. Like, this is depressing. And that's what they're gonna believe, and they believe that lie, you know? It's just, it's really, really sad. So you want to pity them, but a part of you also wants to be like, you owe it to us because you allowed the spin. You allowed the greatest spin of the century. You kind of owe it to us to tell us the truth about what life was like growing up. This is the generation that saw the lie and were told for the longest time it was safe to smoke cigarettes while pregnant too. What did you guys all do when you found out that it actually caused cancer? What was that like? How mad were you? Were there protests? Did you get involved? Do you know anyone who got involved? Do you realize that these same organizations are still in place? Because this is the generation too that, if not them, but their parents bought into the income tax thing. Okay, they were told that you pay income tax to help fund war efforts, and after the war is done, no more. But since nobody gave a shit and complained, maybe some did, okay, I'm sure some did, but it wasn't, you know. We're finding ourselves generations later paying and not knowing why we're paying, because it is theft. And you say stuff like that, and they want to jail your ass. But it's complete theft. Their generation owes us. Okay? So speak to as many older people as you can right now. Social Security is negative. We're out. All right? That's one reason to want to kill them off. You want to ask about, okay, I got an anthrax military highlight on my page as well. Why would they want to do this to our military after they've served? And have you seen the pension plans for the military that survive and get to old age? Have you seen it? That's a lot of money. That's a lot of taxpayer money that we've agreed to because they fought for us and they died. You know, you agreed to use your body as a human shield to defend our country. Okay. We appreciate that. But it's going to suck to have to pay you for like the rest of you, because we got to pay for your education now. We got to pay for, and that's what comes with it, right? So why do you think it makes more sense for them to like knock a bunch of them off? The sooner the better. It's dark. This is not my doing. I'm just telling you why, in case you're wondering why. Why would they do that? Okay? Same with the elderly. This country doesn't want to take care of that, and it makes it easier to say goodbye to the elderly when you don't even have family structure in this country anymore to begin with. When you start really looking into the history, you guys, if you're new to this, of the feminist movement and what they did to really break the family unit in this country, you're going to be floored, and you will start to understand more and more why we are in the mess we are in today. Okay? We have as a culture, it's so shameful. I'm not even sick right now. This is the crap I'm breathing in. I just want to throw that out there, okay? Whatever they're spraying in California, along with the humidity, I think is a little worse than what we're getting in Vegas, because it like just lingers. It lingers. And when all of this is said and done, and you can't find me anymore, you'll likely find me at a piano bar somewhere. That's going to be my, that's probably how I'm going to retire. I'm going to be on a piano bar somewhere, doing songs, but talking, singing. And I've talked about this before. But more and more it's seeming like a reality, because this raspy voice, I'm going to have to take advantage of it, because everything else is going to be like, nope, Talia, nope. So now we're dealing with this older generation that is so just far gone. They're so far gone, and their memories are fading, and we also don't care. We don't care. How many people do you know in your life that are like just waiting on grandpa to kick the bucket, or just waiting on their parents to kick the bucket because they're going to get whatever inheritance that they're going to now be able to like do something stupid with, like pay off their car? It's really, really sad. It's a really, really sad time in society now. We're not even mourning properly. We don't even know how to mourn for those that we lose. We don't know how to be family and not fight each other over money. If you're a young parent right now and you got these little kids, you got at least 2 kids, imagine your kids 30 years from now in a courtroom like a Judge Judy, although I don't know who they're ever going to get to replace her because she's amazing. Imagine your children suing each other over some petty bullshit. That's America. And how crushed you would be. And how crushed you would be. And we've talked about this before, but if you have no matriarch or patriarch of your family, that person that keeps everyone together, that keeps everybody loving each other, and just like none of this other stuff matters but family, and because how we've lost that. We've lost this. Many other cultures still have it, but American society and American culture, we don't have it. It's a free-for-all. It's a free-for-all out here, and it is shameful and really sad to see. But if you don't have that, the good news is you can be that in your family, and I've discussed that too. You could do it. There's no matriarch in your family, you break that mold. You become the matriarch of your family. You start instilling in your kids what's really important in life, okay? Yeah. Forget the matriarch thing too. If you're a guy, be the patriarch of your family. Don't listen to these narratives that they're selling you on the interwebs all day long that, the patriarchy and there is nothing wrong with wanting that bond between family and keeping you guys together, okay? There's nothing wrong with that. There is nothing wrong with your kids, your grandkids wanting to come to you for your wisdom and not to these government websites. There's just nothing wrong with that. So don't believe the lie that you're told on the daily. Because we're leading into this. This article, the Chicago Tribune, this article makes me really upset too. Damn it. I gotta look at something fun after all this. But look at this. June 11, just so you guys can see what I'm looking at here. Chicago Tribune, breaking news, right? American Medical Association, let minors override parents' vaccination refusal. You want to talk about a time in history now more than ever that you better get involved in your kids' lives? It's this. It's this. And when people ask me, well, how old was your daughter when you started talking to her about this stuff? And what's the proper age to do that? The proper age to do that is when they can know right from wrong. So I always like to say around the age of 7 or 8, because you're sending your children off to the enemy every day to be educated, right? Many of us have no choice. We got to do it, and there's no judging there. But you got to be prepared. So you're sending them off to a place. Let's say your kid is not vaccinated. Very easily, this already happened with us, Kate. I send my daughter off. I think she was in 1st grade. She comes home and she goes, Mom, all the kids in my class are getting like the little Band-Aid. They're getting all the flu shots. And I said, oh, that's crazy. And she goes, yeah, I asked my friend, why she did that, because I know that we don't do that because you said they're bad. I'm like, yes, I did say that they're bad. She goes, But I asked my friend, and my friend told me that it's because her mommy loves her that she protected her from the flu. So, and I don't doubt that her friend's mother loves her. But what does that make you look like to your 6-year-old, to your 7-year-old? They're thinking, oh, well, maybe my mommy doesn't love me because she's not protecting me from all this stuff that my classmates are being protected from. Wake up. You have to have conversations with your children about stuff like this because it gets worse. It's only going to get worse. You have to let them know. I'm going to read from this article right now, okay? You can contact this reporter, Javante Anderson. Members of the American Medical Association voted this week to support state policies that would allow minors to override their parents' objections to vaccinations. Moving forward, the AMA will encourage state lawmakers to institute comprehensive vaccine and minor consent policies according to a news release. The policy recommendation came Monday, that means 2 days ago, during the group's annual meeting in Chicago. This decision comes as the anti-vaccination movement gains strength nationwide and public health officials blame outbreaks in diseases including measles on fewer people getting vaccinated. The prevalence of unvaccinated pediatric patients is troubling to physicians, AMA board member Dr. S. Bobby Mukalama said in a release. Many children go unvaccinated as anti-vaccine related messages and advertisements target parents with misinformation. Allowing mature minors to provide informed consent to vaccinations will ensure these patients can access this type of preventative care. During Monday's session, the AMA also voted to adopt a plan to bring national attention to violence against the transgender community, especially transgender people of color. They encouraged doctors to play a more active role in reporting and preventing human trafficking. Okay, great. You love to throw that little last sentence in the... That should be key, okay? That should be the biggest thing that you guys are focusing on in this country, like the actual human trafficking and child sacrifice that's going on in this nation. But okay, what does that mean for you, mom and dad? That means you gotta pull your kids out of school around middle school age pronto, because this shit is already in schools. Parents are getting all these notifications that there's going to be shots this day. The HPV is coming to a school near you. And if your kid is in school that day, do you know what it takes? No offense. I really do say this in all care for just my... Do you know what it takes to be a school nurse? Do ya? Because many of them are fucking up, man. Many of them, like you saw with the Monday's live post, are not really reading when the parents check off the box saying, I do not want this. And they're doing it anyway. And they're going, oops. And the principal is saying, oh, well, you should contact your physician now. And one mom is like, cool, I got to take my kid now into poison control. Because yes, you have to take your kids to poison control. You just poisoned them. So we're having this. This is huge. You have the AMA, the American Medical Association, working now with your state legislatures to come up with bills that are going to allow minors to override parents' vaccination refusal. That is huge because you're sending your kid off. Your kid, I don't care how well you raise them. I'm a pastor's daughter. That tells you everything, okay? I don't care how well you raise your kids. If you send them off for 8 hours a day to be influenced by not only their peers, that all they want to do is impress people, because schools are threatening kids too with threatening but nice wording of, if you get your shots by this date, if you complete this, you can attend the school dance. So you're getting your kids that you're trying to make all woke going to a place where, and hypocritically, my children do go to elementary school right now that is public, which sucks for me, but we really, really are like cutting that by the middle school year. So there's not going to be a past 5th grade. And I know that it should really be just freaking tomorrow already, you guys, but bear with me. I'm figuring things out. And I don't really necessarily have to give my plans to everybody. This is why I'm not judging you. But I am telling you that your kids will get to a point where it doesn't matter if they already know right from wrong. What's most important in their life is having friends and what their friends think of them. And there is nothing you can do physically to convince them otherwise. There's nothing. Nothing. Okay? This is why. In destroying that family unit, okay, you're asking for a world of pain. My heart goes out to you if you're a single parent, mother or father, having to raise your kids. You need a strong family unit. I don't care what anybody says. There is something different about a father figure in the household. And what's really sad and what the government loves to prey on is these single moms, okay? And not just the government, but the church. I'm going to say it. You have single mothers who think, well, if my kid is very active in church and you take them into these priests that billions of dollars the Catholic Church has had to pay out, okay, to these molested children, and these priests get also this. You know that these priests are preying on the weak kids, and you can smell them. I don't worry about my kids because I don't got weak kids that, and people can see that. If these priests, look at all the kids that they go for. They're not going for the kid that has a father figure at home that will beat their ass, okay? Not the kid's ass, but anybody that touches the kid. They don't go after those kids. If you're a child predator and you want to prey on the weak, you know how to select your prey. You don't select the children that are in a decent structure. You just don't. You go after the kids that have these moms that just are longing for that kind of bond for their kid to have because daddy up and left, and just, it's sick what's happened in America. So I do not judge. And if you're in that position, I promise you that my heart does go out to you. It is a non-judgmental thing, but I am telling you, you have to be more vigilant than ever. You do. How many stories do we have to hear? These moms they're desperate. They're looking for other sources for their, especially young boys, to have role models. So they take them to these karate instructors. Oh, well, maybe if I get, and then you've heard of some of these foul ass karate stories, okay? With these instructors are also big time pervs. I'm telling you though, they're not going after the kids that have good bonds with their daddies. They're not. Let that sink in. Just consider it. And once again, I'm not judging, but consider it, that it is important, and they know it's important for these kids. That's why they want to sell you on the lie left and right, that you don't need that. The broken homes, it's okay. It's the new to come from a broken home. Oh my gosh, how dare you talk about that you've been married for this long and that no divorce, and that's shaming other people. Shaming. It's madhouse. It's a madhouse we live in. You're gonna see it. You're gonna see it slowly. That now that we've fought and gotten back certain rights in certain states, that it's not going to matter anyway. Because somebody is going to get a hold of your 16-year-old or 15-year-old, convince them of this, turn your kid into a freaking Ethan Lindenberger. Ethan, how did you survive your whole life? I know, it's not funny. It's funny, but it's not, right? Because that whole family, the Lindenbergers, are a big sham anyway. We got duped. Which is also why, you know what? Celebrities, we've just been hurt so often, okay? We want to trust you, Jessica Biel. We really do. But it's hard for us. It's really hard when you also don't want us to have guns, but you think you can have guns, and, you know, your kids are more important to protect than our kids, and, like, it's hard. Just please understand where we're coming from. Please. We've just been lied to so often. That's why we're so paranoid. You guys know the other day I got paranoid over the weekend because it literally, this girl, we were going down her rabbit hole, and she's like, birds aren't even real birds. You know that, right? Birds are actually just spies for all of us. They're all robots. And then you're like, whatever. And then you think about it and you're going, well, birds are actually really flipping weird, aren't they? Birds don't move like normal animals. So I was like, I can't. Okay, this is going to cut me off, so I'm going to jump back on for another like 20 minutes and then we'll wrap this up. But let me jump right back on.